Hello crafters and welcome to the P2P Crafts Winter Online Show, brought to you by From Picture to Page and Beyond Paper Craft Shows. I'm your host Wendy Stewart and I'm so delighted to be with you today. So I've been paper crafting for many years. I'm a card maker, an art journaler, a scrapbooker. I try it all, and I'm so delighted to be able to host this session full of inspiration and new ideas. So the P2P Crafts Winter Online Show includes demonstrations and interviews with our talented retailers, guest artists, and we're bringing it right into your own homes and living rooms. All of the details of the past and upcoming sessions can be found over from the Picture to Page website, which is from picture to page and beyond.com.au. You can see all of the online show details there, and you can get in touch with the retailers, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter so that you are up to date with everything that's happening, the weekly recaps of all of the videos. This is also the place where you can get the replay of our Facebook today, and we are also going to be on YouTube and on the P2P website, as I said, so please make sure you've signed up. We are so excited to have you here. Please add any questions and comments, any questions into the comments, just like Jenny and Michelle and Kirsten have done. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Our guest will do her best to answer the questions during the live broadcast, or go back after the show has finished and answer all of them. Any questions you may have, don't hesitate to ask. Don't forget to give us a shout out, share us with your crafty friends, and we are so excited. Well, today I am very excited to host the lovely Kathy from Eclectic Images. So let me bring her on screen. Hi Kathy, how are you?
Good, how you going?
Great. So lovely to have you with us.
Wonderful to be here.
Great, thank you so much. Now, Kathy, what can we expect from this wonderful session today, please?
Well, today I'm going to actually do the class that we would have done at the Geelong.
Okay, yep, wonderful.
It was such a lovely class. I'd like everyone to still be able to have a go at home and do it. And lots of people have stamps that'll work for it as well. And I show a couple of different sample stamps that you could use. And also I'm going to talk a little bit in a moment about the ink pads that I used and some others that you could use instead. So it's just showing the technique and then showing what products you might already have at home that you could already use to do it.
That's fantastic. And Kathy, I think I've told you before, one of my very first stamp sets came from you at a Picture to Page show many years ago. So I still have it and I still use it, believe it or not.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Okay, Kathy, I'm going to give you a moment. I'm just going to swap the camera over and I'll come back if you're ready to demo for us, or did you need to chat a little bit before we did the demo?
If I can flip my camera around, I'll chat a little bit about these inks.
Okay.
And then we'll demo after that. So I'm just going to...
Wonderful. Yep, no problem at all. So we're just going to give Kathy a moment to get her screen right, and she'll be back to show us. Kathy, just give me a thumbs up when your screen is ready to go, and I will swap the camera over. Wonderful. All right, Kathy, take it away.
Okay, so the original demonstration, the original sample card I did for this class, which is this one here, was done with the Kaleidacolor Denim ink pad. But I was also itching to try out some of the new Catherine Pooler colours. And so the demonstration we're about to do is the same card, but using the Catherine Pooler inks. Now, the Catherine Pooler inks and the Kaleidacolor inks are quite similar, in fact, in the way that they are water-reactive dye inks. So this technique, if you've got Kaleidacolor pads in things like the Berry Blaze, the Blue Breeze, Cappuccino, all those sort of colours where you've got an ombre range of colours, will work. If you've got the Catherine Pooler inks, you can use something like these ones. This has got two of the new colours, Tranquil and Cove Blue.
Gorgeous.
It fits in with the set, so you go from Tranquil through Stone Blue, Cove Blue and into Juniper Mist. So 4 beautiful shades that all work together. And during the show, during this weekend, I'm going to have the larger ink pads in the Spa collection on special. So they will be 2 pads for $19, so that saves you $2 per pad. A lot of people have started collecting their Catherine Pooler inks in the mini size.
Oh, gorgeous.
The ones are now coming out as the minis. So I'm a little bit undecided whether I'll keep stocking the big pads. I personally like to work with the big pads, but the minis are still a pretty good size. They've got a lot of ink, and it is much easier. They come in sets of 8. So it is much easier for people to collect the sets that way.
Yeah, understand. And it's, it's such a beautiful shape of box as well in the minis, Kathy.
so good and they're so easy to use. The other new thing that we'll have on our website over this weekend is the colour chart for the Spa
Oh,
collection.
lovely.
So we've already got the Party Collection inks, their colour chart. So this gives you the guidance so you can see if you want to use a green colour, what other greens in the range go with it, what yellow greens go together. Or if you want to use some some opposing colours, we could go deck the halls and go across here and use Rocking Red. So it gives you guides of colour combinations.
I think that would make it so much easier, because all of us struggle with colour combinations so much, Kathy.
And the Catherine Pooler range, it's magnificent, but there is so many ink pads in it. But when you see this, you can see why. So we have whole collections in these colour families that all go together.
Wonderful.
Just to show you a little bit of a difference, the Party Collection is the stronger dye-coloured inks.
Right.
Sorry, they're all dye inks.
Yes.
But the crisper, brighter colours is the Party Collection. So this is Coral Cabana from the Party Collection.
Right.
Its corresponding ink, polished in the Spa Collection, you can see has a grey undertone. It's much more muted. So that's the difference. I'm just going to hold it well up to the light, make sure it's... So you can see it's the same colour, but one is a more muted version. So that's the difference between the Spa Collection, which is what we're using today,
Yes.
and the Collection, which is the brights. Within those collections, they then have these sets of 8. So we're looking at the moment, these blues are part of the new Beach Resort collection, and I've just ordered the 4 brand new colours that build out that set of 8. And there's a pink and a burgundy, a really nice clay colour. So we'll fill out this set of 8. So it takes them a little while. They release them first as the big pads.
Right.
And then 6 months later, we'll start to see them coming out as the minis.
That's fantastic. And Kathy's, Kirsten's asking, are there any re-inkers with the Catherine Pooler inks, please?
Yes, and I will put up a special with the 4 new colours and their re-inkers. That is the one thing that I love about the range, is they have a re-inker for every colour.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Kathy, do you know if they're bringing out any purples at all, please?
They do have purples.
Yay!
Yes, we actually have. You've got violet colours in Grape Crush, Pixie Dust and Sweet 16.
Oh, gorgeous.
You've got red violets and you've got blue violets.
Oh.
So there's heaps of purples, all the different shades. And then in the Spa Collection, we've got Queen for a Day and Serenade, and they're looking at maybe another couple in between those two shades.
Yes.
To build more. You've got Royal Treatment in the violet, and then you've got Sangria, which I love, plus the new Sparkling Berry and Sugar Lavender, or in the red violets. So both Spa Collection and Party Collection, you have masses of purples, masses of aquas, just gorgeous colours.
They're just beautiful, Kathy. I don't know how you could stop at one, really.
You can't. You have to collect them, which is why the minis is such a good thing, so you can build your set.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think we're ready to swap round to a demo.
Okay.
And playing with these colours.
Wonderful. So did you want me to run the video now, Kathy, or?
You can run the video now.
Yep,
And then
wonderful. Well, we'll come back and chat to you after the video. So, everybody enjoy this amazing demonstration video we're about to play for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
Hi, I'm Kathy from Eclectic Images, and thank you for joining me today for a bit of card making. So what we're going to do today is an ombre blended technique. So I'm going to be doing some ombre blending both with dry brushes and also with watercolouring, so that's good fun. I've called the class Unicorn in Denim because I'm using denim-y sort of colours, and the main stamp that we're going to use is our Unicorn Beauty. So this is a lovely big stamp, lots of room for colouring, but the same technique would work equally well with the Siamese cats, the Dreamcatcher, or any of our mandalas. But today we're going to start with the unicorn, and our inks that we're using is from the Catherine Pooler Spa collection and some out of the new Beach Resort collection. So I'll do a little bit with some Sea Glass and Bay Breeze, how nice are they? But also with the new blue collection. So adding to the range that already had Stone Blue and Juniper Mist, the new range actually brings now in 2 more colours, Tranquil and Cove Blue. So we go from very light colour through to 2 medium colours and into a deeper one, which makes your ombre blending really easy to do. We'll also be using a little bit of Versamark, which is for our embossing. We'll be embossing in copper, And I'll be using for my blending, I'm going to use a mixture of the dry brushes and also the new Tim Holtz applicator tool with some dome foam. It's always just good to say dome foam, isn't it? Now, okay, let's get started. So using the cotton blend cardstock, I'll wipe over it with anti-static pad just so our embossing powder just sticks to where we want it. I've already got Unicorn Beauty loaded up on an acrylic block, so we're just going to ink him thoroughly with the Versamark ink. Stamping right in the middle and press down nice and firmly over the whole image. Bringing our bit of scrap paper, well, that was a bit loud, sorry. Bringing our scrap paper and the copper embossing powder. See how he looks. So I'll just get a fine brush just to tap that down. Make sure the whole design area is covered. Tap it off on the side. Flip it over, give it a good tap on the back. And then just check whether I've got any little fingerprints on there that have picked up embossing powder. Looks pretty good. Now, excess powder back into your jar. How's Matthew keeping up with the camera work today? I'm a bit all over the place, so we'll see how he goes. Okay, that to one side, get our heat gun out. And sorry, we're about to make some noise. Now you can do a little bit of your heating from the back, which just helps to soften the embossing powder and not flick any bits of powder anywhere. It also helps too if it's a cold day and your card feels a bit damp. Not damp, you know, feels cold, it stops your card buckling so much. So if we do some heating from the back and then some from the front. Some colours like white are actually good to do all of the embossing from the back. I think you can see that starting to change. So just wait till it all goes shiny and then move on to the next bit. And then we're just going to hold the card up and have a look across with the light to see that it's all shiny and there's no bits that are dull, which would mean that they haven't been actually embossed yet. Okay, now I've already made a acetate mask that just fits neatly over him. Now you'll see it has got some bits of double-sided tape on, but those are a little bit worn, so they're not going to do a lot of sticking. I'll actually have to hold it fairly closely in place myself. Now I'm just going to bring into shot one that I've already done the background of. So this is using the 4 blues. So going from Tranquil through to Stone Blue, Cove Blue, and then finally into Juniper Mist. And you can see we get this really nice blend. So having 4 colours, 3 or 4 colours, gives you a real advantage to doing your ombre blends. But what we're going to do with this one is actually just use the Sea Glass and the Bay Breeze. So I'll show you how that you can do a blend with just 2 colours. So I'll start off with my blending brush. I'm going to just position that acetate so that the unicorn is fully covered, and I've got a fairly even border all around the edge because this border is going to show. So then we start off just at the, well, you can start anywhere on the card. You could go, your ombre could be diagonally across, but I'm going to start at the top and work down. So we start off with just picking up a little bit of colour and just dust it lightly onto the card. Just with circles, although you can also do sweeping motions with these brushes. I do like these brushes for working on matte cardstock. I find I still use the long-handled ones that you've seen me working with whenever I go to gloss cardstock, but these do a great job on the matte, on the cotton blend. Now you can work from the edge of your card in, or you can work from the mask up. But either way, if you're working from an area, like from your pad or from the mask, it does mean that your brush is moving by the time you hit the cardstock. Now I'm just going to take this a little bit down the sides. I'm just going to tilt the card, move the card around a little bit, both for my ease, but also so you can see, you're not trying to look through my hand at what I'm doing. Okay, now we're going to start building these colours up more. So whereas with the blues, I would swap to another blue, here I'm just going to layer more of the same colour and then just go softer when I want to blend it back into the other. So you can see we're getting shades even though we're still using the same colour. So let's add more into this side. And again, I still take the colour a little bit further than where I want it to be, and that gives me somewhere to blend my next colour back over. And once I've got that colour to the intensity I want, and I've got less ink on my brush, I can just go back up and make sure it's really nicely blended into that light green. Okay, now we're going to swap to the Bay Breeze. Now I don't need to change brushes at this stage. Just going to pick up some of that, just a small amount. I'm not over inking the brush because I don't want this to be too strong. So start off putting it where I want it and then blend it up into the first colour. Now I'm just going to turn the card all the way around. This again is both because I find it easier working away from me, but also so that you can see what's happening. So we're inking up and then we're pushing it into the other colour. And then blending down to where we're going to come in with a stronger version of Bay Breeze. I'm just double checking. Yes, it is Bay Breeze I'm working with. So I could keep working with this same brush and just keep layering more ink on. But I do find these brushes, if you get a lot of dark colour, unless you have enough of them that you've got one for light and one for dark colour of greens and one for light blue and one for dark blue, if you've only got one to cover blues and one to cover greens, if you get a lot of ink colour on it, it can be hard to clean it out and go back to the light ones. And I do find that the dome foams are really good for applying a lot of colour. So I'm going to switch now to a dome foam with this so that I can get a richer colour happening on this card without putting so much ink onto my blending brush. Now this is a very juicy new ink pad, so I'm having to be a little bit careful that I don't get too much ink and get blobs. But you find you can work the inks a fair bit until you can get that intensity just how you want it. Okay, I think that is looking pretty good. So let's lift off our acetate and have a look at how our blend is going. That's pretty nice, I reckon. Okay, so that's working with Sea Glass and Bay Breeze. Just going to pop those to one side. Now the next stage is to give this a little spritz with a metallic spray, which is just going to add a bit of texture and give a lovely metallic sheen. Now if I had already on this one where I was playing around with the Siamese cat, this one was done with just two colours again, pink champagne and sangria. Sorry, Matthew, get those around an angle you can see. So again, but I had a little bit of mauve on my brush, so it actually looks a bit like I've got three colours happening in there. Now with this one, I did the watercolouring and then decided that I would spritz the card. So I left my mask on so that the cat blending would not get spritzed. I wanted the texture of the spritzing in the background, but not over the cat. This one that I haven't coloured yet, I can just spritz away, which actually means there's going to be a little bit of metallic there that'll pick up when I'm doing the watercolouring. So let me just bring in another bit of scrap paper that's got a lot more messy, and I don't mind getting a lot of water on that. And I'm going to give my metallic spray. This one I'm using is the Colour Blast Bling, which is a really great gold. And we're going to spritz quite generously over that card. Now I don't mind if I get a mixture of fine spritzing and blobs. And quite often what will happen is some colour's going to bleed into that area. We're getting some blobs of gold on the unicorn. That's all fine, that's all just going to add to the look of it. The one that we're about to switch to, we actually got quite some blue ink coming in. And I like that, but if I didn't want that, that's where I could leave the mask on and then the spritzing is just going to happen around the outside. Okay, so I would also now just lay a bit of paper towel over that and just lift off. And there we've got our beautiful ombre background. Now we're going to switch to a card that's already, seen as that's a little bit wet. We're going to switch to the one I've already done the background in the blues. And I'm just going to fold over a new bit of paper so I don't, when I'm watercolouring, that I don't pick up any of those greens. Okay, so now we're going to do our watercolouring. Now we could put our inks onto an acrylic block, or we can just put them onto our mat. Let's move our pinks out of the zone. So I'm going to start off with the softer one. Put some Tranquil there and just make a palette as I go down my mat. Some Cove Blue, and finally a little bit of Juniper Mist. So that's making me a palette that I can paint from. So using my water brushes, I've got a, where are we? We've got a medium and a broad on the go. I'm going to start with the broad, and there's different ways of doing this. You can actually start with your lighter colour, just make sure you've got a little bit of water flowing through your brush. We can start with the lighter colour and actually blend over the whole area. If we're working with an ombre colour scheme, so we're working with all the same shades of one colour, we could start from here and work up and then just keep layering the other colours on. If, however, you're working with a couple of, say you're going from yellow, orange into pink, so a rainbow blend rather than an ombre blend, we might start off with just doing one colour up the top and just blending that out, and then work out other colours gradually up into it. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I need to do a rainbow blended one in another class so we can see that. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up some of our next colour and pop that on and blend it up till it meets with our first one. Give my brush a clean and just soften off that edge so it doesn't get a chance to dry on me before I get ready to blend there. So let's just take a bit more colour up here. I can clean my brush and just go between the two colours until I'm happy I've got a really nice soft blend between them. I'm now going to start going into the deeper colours with the medium brush, and I'll keep my broad brush clean for doing the blending. So let's pop that one on. This is the Cove Blue. Making sure I get into the main there. And again, just pop a little bit of water on that edge there so that it doesn't dry out before we start wanting to blend into it. And go between my two colours there until I'm getting a really nice blend. Now there I've just gone over the edge, which happens sometimes even when you're embossing. So I'll just get a clean brush and just push that colour back, and then we might grab our paper towel and just dry that so that there's no water there to encourage ink to blend back out into it. Now let's come in with our deeper colour. This is where it gets a little bit scary. Okay, now I definitely don't want this drying before I get my blending done. Flip your card around and you can get the tip of the brush right into that edge there. And I'm going to just push some ink onto the card and then let it meet the ink rather than dragging the colour out, which actually worked really well then. Maybe you can just drag the colour out, but you can also put water on your card and then introduce it into the ink colour, and that'll encourage, as you can see, just a really nice blend of the colour coming out. Now I still want to soften any edges, so let's go over them before they get a chance to dry, and we're going to soften that into the Cove Blue. And sometimes you've got to, as you mess with the colour, you've got to go back over some of your previous blending just till you're happy that you blended without any transition lines. So I'm just watching that as it dries a bit just to see if I need to add any more colour in. I can clean my brush off a little bit. And just going back to the Cove Blue, I just want to add a bit more of that into the mix. And just get my broad brush just to blend those edges out. If I'm getting too much colour, I can actually use my brush just to push it back a bit, or I can drag it further in. Okay, let's push it back a little bit there. edges. I'm happy with how that blend's going. I'm just going to do a final drag up that way, and then I'm going to do a bit of a push back. Now I'm pretty happy that that is giving us a really nice blend. Now we do need to add a little bit more colour to him because he needs his mane and his unicorn horn. So we're going to pick up, I'm just cleaning my brush off. So I'll pick up some of the lighter blue just to pop on the horn there. And that was quite wet, so I'm just coming in with the paper towel, dabbing a little bit off, just so it doesn't get mixed in with the deeper colours, because I want to use, I think I'll go with the Juniper Mist for his mane. Now, where the mane ends, rather than trying to follow definite lines, I'm just again going to push a bit of water in there and let it bleed. Sometimes it's fun just to let the inks do their own thing. So turn your card around so you're always working at a comfortable angle for you, and I'm wanting to be able to push the end of the brush right up to that edge of that embossing. So I could actually just do some little strokes of mane, just pull it out, wiggle the brush a bit to get it looking like mane, and I'll continue that to continue it looking the same. I'll continue it on here, and then when we get down the bottom, we'll blend it out the same as I did with the forelock. So put a bit more colour in and just tease it out with the brush. Have a mouthful of water. Just tease it out. Okay, so we're just going to use the broad brush, just broad brush, just to add some water in and tease that mane out a bit. So where I've already put the Juniper Mist, we just push a bit of water into it. I can see I need to fill a bit more colour in there, just to make his mane look like a mane. And just tease it out a bit. Okay. So that's basically our card. Now, before I get blue ink everywhere, if I was doing card making myself, I would probably use these colours that are on my mat to make another background, because you could do lots of smooshing on that. But because I don't want to stick my elbow in it and then put on my card, I'm actually just going to give it a bit of a spritz and wipe it clean. So the one last bit to do on this card is to create a little bit of a border for it. Now I've already got it mounted on some black cards so you can see how it looks with that nice dark frame to it. But I'm also going to add a little bit of an extra border just using a Sharpie. Now you could actually, if you're a bit nervous, you could actually use a ruler and rule the edge, but it's quite fun to sometimes just be a bit random and just let it happen a bit. You can always add a few little squiggly lines in. Take that one up a bit higher on that side. And there's our card. I'll just bring it forward so that it's on the black cloth there, not on my messy pad. And Matthew can get a good shot of it. So that's the ombre blending with the dry brushes, and then the ombre blending with your watercolouring. I hope you like that one. And oh, I should tell you actually too, the embossing powder on that one was silver pearl compared with the copper that we used with the greens. Cool. Okay, thank you very much for being with us today, for watching this one. Hope you enjoy having a go yourself.
Wasn't that fantastic? What an amazing demo. Those colors, the richness of it, and the way Kathy showed us how to blend was just incredible. I'm going to bring Kathy back on screen so we can ask a few questions, and I think she has a few more things to show us. So here comes Kathy. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I love the way you showed us how to use the different blending brushes, you know, the the foam ones, with the Tim Holtz foam ones, and the other beautiful blending brushes that you have. And it's always great to refresh our techniques, but to learn how to do new ones. And I just thought that was incredible. Thank you so much.
There's so many tools out there, it can get confusing
Yeah.
as to what does what. So to see them in use and using them together means that you get a better idea of how they can complement each other. And you can do all your blending with the dome foams. You can do all your blending with the blending
Yes.
brushes. Sometimes a combination, if you happen to have both, then you can use them together and you can get better effects, or get your effects easier by using the tools, the different tools.
And
Yeah.
there's many of us, I'm not saying anybody's names in particular, but you buy these beautiful products at the shows or online or wherever you get them from, and then they just sit in your craft stash and you don't tend to use them because you might have forgotten, if you were showing us at a show how to use them, you may have just forgotten and you're not sure what to do with them. So this has been a wonderful refresher for all of us, and I'll say us, who have these products, and we need to get them out and use them and really embellish all our beautiful projects with them.
The other thing is, when I'm demonstrating at a craft show, I have to go fairly quickly.
Yes.
Because people have got a lot to see in the day. You can't hold them up for 20 minutes, half an hour, 3/4 of an hour doing a demo. So you've got to get through things quickly.
Yes.
So you're walking at such a fast pace to get things through. So to have it on YouTube, it means that people can take their time.
Correct.
They can stop, go back. So we're building up quite a collection on our YouTube now, which is really good.
Yeah,
We're loving it.
Absolutely, and that's what's fantastic about it. And even the video of today is going to be on YouTube and on the Picture to Page and Beyond website, so everyone can go back and refer to it. So if you forget about what you showed us, we can go back and go, yep, that's how to do it, and
And you miss a bit and you go, oh, I can stop, I can go back
Correct.
and go over that. Yeah, it's really
Correct.
good. But the other thing that I wanted to sort of mention was that sometimes with the blending of the background with the brushes, that's actually fairly easy.
Yes.
Especially when you're working with 4 colours, or as we did in the demo, doing 2 colours and
Yes.
doing them more or less intensity. That's pretty easy. The watercolouring, though, an ombre watercolour is actually not as easy as it looks.
I can appreciate that.
So that was the harder bit to do. And I thought, well, what happens if you don't get it even? And you think, well, what do? I've done this beautiful background, I've done this watercolouring, and I'm not happy with it. So I've just got 2 more things to show.
Yep. Kathy, I've just got a couple of questions for you before we do that. Somebody asked what cardstock you were using, please, for your card.
I'm working on the 210 GSM cotton blend.
210 cotton GSM.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Wonderful.
It's
And I just wanted to ask, say supposing you've got, big blobs on your project, when you've sprayed, if you get big blobs, is it safe to maybe put another piece of cardstock over it to lift it off, or would you just recommend the paper towel? That was my question.
if you'd used another bit of cardstock, you could be starting to make yourself another background.
Yeah.
So that could be
Yeah. Yeah.
But I find you don't get enough coming off.
Fair
that to
enough.
be-
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so that's why I normally use the paper towel. But if you do get blobs, it's going to lift a bigger area of colour off
Yes.
the card. So it's still going to be a blob, but to me that adds texture and character to it.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't mind if I get fine spray and blobs.
Yes.
Because I feel that gives more interest to the card.
Definitely. And I loved your finishing off, with the little corners that you did. That was just brilliant. It just lifted the whole project up, which was wonderful.
And again, that's a bit nerve-wracking to do, so practice on your scrap paper first, but it's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Kathy, you had a few more things to show us. So let me just swap the screen over. So it's just you. There you go. It's all yours.
Flip around.
Okay.
So
Yep.
here's something else that you could do if you weren't so happy with that blending. So I've just got my leaf swell stamp, and using the same 4 ink colours, I've actually I just masked off this area, so I could just stamp that leaf swell
Yes.
stamp over my area. And I then also added it into the background, the border a bit as well, which you can sort of see. It's only very faint because it's going over the same colour that was
Yes.
put there. But that's one way that you could break it. If you weren't happy with your watercolour blending, you could break it up.
Absolutely.
And another thing you could do, I'm just going to bring in one that I created with sangria and pink champagne. I might move it around that way because you'll see a bit better.
Yeah,
So
sure.
another thing you could do is get one of our metallic sprays and spritz it again. Make sure I don't spritz the camera.
It's all good.
And that is going to then add, if I can get in nice and close now,
Yes.
that's add some texture to it and some shine. So if you're not happy with your blending, don't throw your card out. Just add a little bit more to it.
Definitely.
Camera back. Yep,
Yeah,
there we go.
let me bring us back on screen together. That was fantastic, Kathy. There've been wonderful ideas today, and I know everyone's raving about it in the comments, and they've loved your demo, and they're just all excited about the stamps. And I think that sangria color is to die for.
It is, isn't it? I love it too.
Absolutely. Well, Kathy, it's been just lovely having you. And before you go, you were mentioning you had some specials on today, so if you could share that again with our lovely viewing audience.
Yes, so our main special day is the large size Catherine Pooler ink pads in the Spa collection, and they're all going to be $9 each instead of $11.
Okay.
And also pop up a special for the 4 new colours with their re-inkers. So when I get home, I'll pop that on as well.
Great.
And we do have the Spa collection colour wheel will be going up today as well, and that's a free download.
Oh, that's fantastic. How wonderful. Thank you so much, Kathy. Well, it's been an absolute delight hosting you today. I hope we get to see you again soon. And hopefully everyone's been inspired to go and try the techniques you showed us and create some wonderful projects. And if they do, I hope they'll share them with us online and tag us and yourself so that we can see them.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
All right, Kathy. Bye for now.
Have a great day.
Thank you. So there you go. Wasn't it incredible watching Kathy just blend so effortlessly? I hope you've all been inspired. I hope you all enjoyed that session. Go and check out Kathy's website. Don't forget the specials on there. Please keep asking questions in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you another time. So take care of yourselves. Stay warm today and bye for now.